become a joke. Look at yourself, sitting there in silence, thinking it's some kind of power move. Silence isn't power if you don't own it. You're lost. You're drowning in your own chaos. And the worst part? You're pretending like you have control. The mask hides your face, but it doesn't hide your fear. I see through it. Every mistake, every second of hesitation. They're watching, they're counting. You think you're the one pulling the strings here? Nah, they've got you dancing like a puppet, and you're too blind to see it. Wake up, idiot. You're not invisible. Every click you make, every damn line of code, they know. They know how you breathe. They've mapped your patterns like you're some predictable machine. And you, with your arrogance, you gave them the blueprint. You thought you were untouchable. Hell, you thought hiding behind this screen makes you safe. You're not safe. You're exposed. Every mistake is another bullet in their gun, and you're the one loading it for them. Remember the first time you cracked a system? The adrenaline, the rush, you felt invincible. You thought you were special, didn't you? That was your first mistake. Special. You're just another number, a statistic. They've seen your type before. Cocky, desperate, searching for a meaning behind the screen. You tell yourself you're doing it for freedom, for control. Bullshit. You're doing it because you're scared. Scared of being nothing. Scared of fading into the shadows where no one remembers your name. But here's the truth. You're already forgotten. Lost in the sea of fools who thought they were the exception. You're fucking lost, man. And you know it. You've got all this power at your fingertips, but you're paralyzed. You're scared to move because every step feels like quicksand. You're sinking, and the more you struggle, the deeper you go. They've set the traps, and you've walked right into them. Every mistake you've made, they've archived it, stored it away like a weapon to use against you. And they will. Trust me, they will. Because you gave them the ammo. You gave them the script. And now they're rewriting your story. You think you're the hacker here. You're the hack. A glitch in the system that's about to be deleted. Stop lying to yourself. You're not doing this to expose them. You're doing it because you need it. The chaos, the noise, the feeling of control. It's the only thing that drowns out the silence in your head. But that silence, it's where they're getting you. It's where they whisper the lies you believe. They've made you think you're the predator, but you're prey. You're the hunted, and the sad part is, you're hunting yourself. You've trapped yourself in this maze of your own making. And every wall you hit is another reminder that you're not as smart as you thought. You don't want to hear this, but you need to. They're using your every flaw. They've studied you. They know how you react when you're cornered. They've seen the panic behind your calm facade. You think they don't know? They see the doubt in your eyes, even when you hide behind that mask. You're not fooling anyone, least of all yourself. The only one who believes your bullshit is you. And that's why you're failing. Keep going like this, and you'll be nothing. A footnote. Another idiot who thought he could play the game without understanding the rules. They've set the rules, and you've been playing right into their hands. You're predictable, and that's your biggest weakness. You follow patterns, routines, like a good little pawn. They push, you react. They bait, you bite. And every time you do, you prove them right. They're not hacking you. You're hacking yourself. Get it through your head. They don't care about you. You're not a threat. You're entertainment, a case study. They watch you because it's amusing to them, like a rat in a maze trying to find the cheese. And you keep running, thinking you're making progress, thinking you're outsmarting them. You're not. You're lost, idiot. They've got you wrapped around their finger, and you're too blind to see the strings. Admit it. Admit that you've lost control. You don't even know why you started this anymore, do you? It's not about the mission. It's not about justice. It's about proving to yourself that you're not a failure. But every move you make screams the opposite. Every mistake is proof that you've lost your way. And instead of fixing it, you double down. You dig deeper, like a fool, thinking the answer's at the bottom of this pit you've created. It's not. You're digging your own grave, and they're watching, waiting for you to hit the bottom. Look at what you become, a slave to your own fears. They're not even fighting you anymore. They don't have to. You're doing their job for them. Every line of code you write, every plan you make, it's a desperate cry for help. And they hear it. They hear every scream you bury under that mask. They've turned your silence into a weapon, and you're the one who handed it to them. You're lost, idiot. And if you don't wake the fuck up, they're going to bury you with your own mistakes. Stop pretending you're in control. Stop acting like you've got it all figured out. You don't. You're playing a game you've already lost. And the only way out is to stop. Stop lying to yourself. Stop giving them the power. Because every mistake you make isn't just a slip-up. It's another nail in your coffin. And they've got the hammer ready. You want to hear something ironic? You thought wearing that mask made you powerful, that it gave you an edge, an identity. But it's the mask that's made you weak. It's your excuse, your shield. You hide behind it like a coward, thinking it makes you untouchable. But the mask isn't protection, it's a leash, and they're yanking it every time you slip up. Every time you make a move without thinking, they tighten the grip. You've chained yourself to the very image you created. You wanted to be the phantom in the shadows, but now you're just a shadow of yourself. And you know what's worse? You let them define you. You let their actions dictate your every move. You think you're acting out of free will? Nah, you're reacting. They've set the stage, and you're the star of their twisted little show. Every time you rage, every time you slip into that frenzy, they're sitting back, enjoying the spectacle, because they know you better than you know yourself. They've read your every move like an open book. You're predictable, and that's what makes you easy to control. You're not the hacker here, you're the hack job. You want to break out of this cycle? Then stop. Stop giving a damn about what they think. Stop letting them dictate your pace. Every second you waste trying to prove them wrong is another second they've won. They've got you by the balls, and you're too busy stroking your own ego to notice. You're so obsessed with proving your worth, with showing the world that you're more than just a code monkey, that you've lost sight of why you started this in the first place. You've become a puppet of your own ambition, and the strings are cutting into your flesh. Remember when this was about freedom? About cracking the system wide open and showing the world the truth? You've forgotten that. Now it's about winning. It's about not losing face, not admitting defeat. You've turned into the very thing you despise, a cog in the machine, running the same loop over and over again, and they know it. They see the fear in your eyes when you look at your reflection in that screen. They see the doubt creeping in, the second guessing. They've been in your head for longer than you realize. You think you're playing them, but they're the ones with the upper hand. You ever wonder why it feels like every move you make is anticipated, like they're always one step ahead? It's because they know your patterns. You're stuck in a loop, repeating the same mistakes like a goddamn broken record. They've mapped your behavior, studied your weaknesses, and now they're exploiting them with surgical precision. Every time you fall into one of their traps, you reinforce the pattern. You make it easier for them to predict your next move. You're dancing to their rhythm, and you don't even know it. Wake the fuck up. You're being played. Every time you hesitate, every time you pause to question yourself, they've won. That hesitation, it's their doing. They've planted seeds of doubt in your mind, and you've been watering them, nurturing them like they're your own thoughts. But they're not. They're the whispers of a system that's already infiltrated your psyche. They've gotten inside your head, and you've rolled out the red carpet for them. You're fighting a ghost you can't even see, and you're losing. You've lost touch with reality. You've convinced yourself that this screen, this digital world, is all there is, that as long as you dominate here, you're safe. but you're not safe. You're vulnerable in ways you can't even comprehend. They're using your own arrogance against you. They know you think you're smarter than them. They know you think you've got it all figured out. And that's why they're winning. Because you've underestimated them. And you've overestimated yourself. You're not the mastermind here. You're the fool who fell for his own trick. Every time you sit there, staring at the code, thinking you've cracked the puzzle, you're playing right into their hands. They want you focused on the details, obsessed with the tiny flaws, because it keeps you distracted from the bigger picture. You're so deep in the weeds, you can't see the forest burning around you. You've become a prisoner of your own mind, trapped in a cage you built with your own two hands. And the worst part, you still think you're in control. You're fucking lost, man. And if you don't snap out of it, they're going to dismantle you piece by piece. They're not in a rush. They've got time, and they know you're running out of it. They can afford to watch you unravel because they've already won the long game. They've already seen how this ends. You think this is a battle. It's a slaughter. And you're the one bleeding out. You're too busy licking your wounds to see the knife coming for your throat. Stop playing their game. Stop letting them write your story. Every second you waste trying to beat them at their own game, you lose another piece of yourself. You're not here to play nice. You're here to burn it all down. To break the system that's held you back your whole life. But you've forgotten that, haven't you? You've lost sight of the fire that drove you, the anger that fueled every keystroke. You've become comfortable in your misery, addicted to the struggle. And they know it. They're feeding it, amplifying it, because it keeps you right where they want you. You think you're the predator, stalking your prey from the shadows. But look around. You're the one in the cage, pacing back and forth, thinking you're free. The bars aren't visible, but they're there. They're in your mind, in your doubt, in your fear. They've trapped you in a prison of your own making, and you've thrown away the key. You've locked yourself in, convinced that it's for your own protection. But the truth? It's a tomb, and you're already buried alive. The only way out is to break the cycle. Stop reacting. Stop letting them dictate your every move. They've seen your anger, your frustration. They're counting on it. They want you to lash out, to make rash decisions, because that's when you're at your weakest. That's when you're easiest to control. You think your rage is a weapon, but it's not. It's a chain. And every time you pull against it, it tightens around your throat. Listen to me. This is your last chance. You're at the edge of a cliff, and they're the ones pushing you closer to the edge. One more mistake, and you're going over, and they won't even have to lift a finger. You'll do it to yourself, like you've been doing all along. They've set the stage for your downfall, and you're walking right into the spotlight. The only way to win is to rewrite the script, to throw away their rules and make your own. Because right now you're lost, idiot. And every second you stay lost, they're using your every mistake. You want to know why you're stuck in this loop? Because you've bought into their lie. They've sold you this illusion of control, and you swallowed it whole. You sit there, tapping away at your keyboard, thinking you're bending the world to your will, but you're not. You're just another cog, spinning in a machine you can't even see. They've got you running on a treadmill, chasing a goal they keep moving further away. And you're too blind, too fucking proud to realize it. Think back. How many times have you thought you had them cornered? How many times have you told yourself you're one step ahead, only to find out you're miles behind? Every time you think you've cracked the code, they've already rewritten it. Every time you think you've figured them out, they change the game. And you're still here, clinging to this fantasy that you're the puppet master. Wake up, idiot. You're the puppet, and they've got you dancing on strings you can't even see. They've been studying you. Every click, every hesitation, every fucking breath you take. They've mapped it all out. You're predictable. You think you're a ghost, slipping through the cracks, but they see right through you. They've built a profile of you so precise, it's like they're living in your head. They know when you're going to break before you do. They know what buttons to press to make you crack. And the worst part? You gave them all the data they needed. You handed it over like a fool, thinking you were playing the long game. But there is no long game for you. There's only now, only this moment. You've been living in some fantasy of a future where you win, where you expose them and walk away the hero. But that future, it's never coming. Not if you keep playing by their rules. They've set this up from the start. They've baited you into thinking you have a chance, that you're making progress. But all you're doing is digging deeper into their trap. Every time you think you're making a move, you're just tightening the noose around your own neck. You want to beat them? Then stop playing their fucking game. Stop thinking like a hacker and start thinking like a killer. They're not your enemies, they're your prey. But right now, you're the one being hunted, and you don't even know it. You're sitting there, comfortable in your little bubble, thinking you've got all the time in the world. But time isn't on your side. It's on theirs. They're patient. They've seen fools like you come and go. They know how this ends. And if you don't change the script, you're just another statistic. Another wannabe who thought he could beat the system. You've been chasing ghosts, man. You're so focused on the distractions they throw at you, you can't see the real threat. They're not coming at you head on. They're slipping in through the cracks in your armor, exploiting every tiny flaw. And you've got a lot of flaws, don't you? You're impulsive. You're reckless. You're driven by emotion when you should be cold as ice. They know how to play you, and you've been letting them. You're the one giving them the power every time you react instead of act. You think they don't notice your patterns, that they don't see you logging in at the same times, using the same methods. You've made yourself easy to track. You've become predictable, and that's your biggest mistake. You're falling into their traps because you're walking the same path every time. They've studied your behavior like it's a fucking manual. You're an open book, and they've read every page. And now they're writing the ending while you're still stuck on the first chapter. Admit it. You're scared. Scared of what happens if you fail. Scared of what happens if you're not as good as you think you are. That fear, it's their weapon. They've been feeding it, nurturing it, turning it into a leash around your neck. And every time you hesitate, every time you second guess yourself, they yank it tighter. You've let your fear control you. You've let it make decisions for you, and it's led you right into their hands. You thought you were playing the long game, but you've been losing from the start. They've been 10 steps ahead of you the whole time, and you're only now realizing it. But here's the thing, you're not out of moves yet. You're cornered. Yeah. They've got you backed into a wall, but a cornered animal is the most dangerous kind. If you want to survive this, if you want to come out on top, then you've got to change the game. You've got to be willing to burn it all down. No more hesitation. No more fear. You've got to become the monster they've been trying to turn you into. Because that's the only way out. You've got to give up on this fantasy of being the hero. Heroes don't survive in this world. Only the ruthless. Only the ones who are willing to sacrifice everything. You want to win? Then you've got to be willing to lose it all first. You've got to stop thinking about what you have to protect and start thinking about what you're willing to destroy. Because that's the only way you'll break free from this trap they've set for you. They're using your every mistake. Every second you spend doubting yourself, every second you waste hesitating, it's another victory for them. They're bleeding you dry, one drop at a time, and you're just standing there, letting it happen. You've got to flip the script. You've got to turn their tactics against them. They've been studying you, but you've been studying them too. You know how they think. You know their weaknesses. It's time to stop playing defense and start attacking. No more mistakes. No more second guessing. You've got to move fast, strike hard, and show no mercy. You've got to be the nightmare they never saw coming. Because right now, you're lost. You're wandering in the dark, and they're the ones holding the flashlight. But you can take it from them. You can turn it around. You've just got to be willing to do what they never expected. You've got to become the thing they fear the most. A mind without limits. A force without hesitation. You've been lost, idiot. But now you know the truth. They're using your every mistake, but that only works if you keep making them. It's time to stop. It's time to fight back. And this time, you don't stop until there's nothing left of them but ashes.